Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV, and real quickly here, we are going to be going through the 4th episode of Season 3 of You, I think it's Hands Across Madre Linda. Again, these are more low-effort videos. These are more, recap style stuff where we kind of just talk about, touch base, have discussions in the comments section about everything that happened in this latest episode that we've watched. So, without further ado, let's just get in it. I might edit some clips here and there if I see it appropriate. Sorry if my camera's a little laggy. Let's go. So getting into it, the only good news we get to start the episode is that Gil isn't dead, but that is obviously about to change. This is a full spoiler review, so if you haven't seen this show, do not come clicking on here and getting pissed off because I decided to spoil something for you. It's not really a spoiler if I announce that it's a spoiler review. So, Love is once again left to Joe to clean up her mess. Their current plan is to see if Gil in the basement cage Joe tells him is for proofing dough will accept a very sincere apology from Joe on Love's behalf. Are we able to just part ways? Are we able to just be fine with this? Love and Joe won't tell anyone about Gil's anti-vax stance endangering Henry's life if Gil agrees not to tell anyone, including the cops, how Love caved his head in, which is obviously assault. You could go to jail probably for a couple of years, maybe even 3 for what Love did to Gil. So Gil tries to stand on his groundless principles regarding vaccines, but when he can see that this isn't working on Joe, he quickly agrees that they can part friends. So, however, Joe doesn't believe him, so he sets up Henry's baby monitor outside a cage and tells Love his new plan. Mutually assured destruction, and we've seen this sort of plan. We've seen Joe kind of try to pull off this sort of gimmick towards the beginning of the show, where, you pretty much blackmail and gaslight people by holding something against them, that if they expose the truth about you, you're going to do the same thing to them. So, if they confront Gil with a secret he won't want to get out, it'll ensure he keeps theirs. So, from what Joe can sleuth on Gil's social media, though, Gil's clean. All Gil can think of is a time he and a fellow parishioner gambled away $600 raised for a needy family in their church, then replaced it from their own savings. This isn't salacious enough, so Love puts the Quinn family PI on the case. It's not even really salacious. It's not even really something that gives him a bad name, because he ended up making up for it by putting his own money towards it, which is debatably better than using whatever funds they were using at the beginning. So yeah, he's such a goody two-shoes that's the worst thing he could think of that he's done in his life. So meanwhile, Sherry has taken charge of a community search for Natalie or evidence around the area where her ring was found. And again, trying to fake it, trying to get attention from people, trying to up her image in the community. Out back, Love overhears Matthew and Theo fighting about participating. Theo knows Sherry thinks Matthew killed Natalie and doesn't want to help the villagers sharpen their pitchforks. This is pretty much, if they don't find Natalie, if they do this, search party and they further don't find him, it's going to look really bad for Matthew. But Love tells him to quit being a brat and go for the optics, if nothing else. She'll even be a search buddy. You have to make an appearance so you don't appear suspicious. So, sorry about that. So this scene also brings back the matter of a weak slat in the fence between the Quinn, Goldberg, and Engler, which already admitted a runaway bunny, and so I married an axe murderer. We should keep that in mind, it seems. It seems like they're kind of using that to symbolize something, and that's kind of a cool plot device. So, anyway, at the library, Joe figures out why Marianne seems so disdainful of him. She assumed he's been removing the rare books because he's a rich kid heedless of their value. That wouldn't even make sense. When I was watching this and I heard her say that doesn't even make sense. But because a poor kid would probably do that, not a rich kid. But she softens on him once he explains that he grew up in poverty and came to love books, thanks to Mr. Mooney's care of him. But now he knows she's aware of what's in the rare books collection, and he will probably have to take a break stealing them to resell for Ellie. He might even have to quit entirely if he wants to win over the hearts of her even, So then Cy, the PI, reports in, and Joe and Quinn confront Gil. He cheated to get his son Alan into Dartmouth, which faked transcripts and SAT results in a $50,000 donation to a fake charity, which is extremely fucked up. That is he seems like a goody two-shoes, but that could really change your thoughts on him, because holy, that's bad. That's a huge deal. So Based on Gil's horrified reaction and remembering a news report from the school where Gil taught for a suspiciously short time, Joe figures out this is more than a mere Operation Varsity Blues situation. Alan sexually assaulted a student on Gil's previous campus, and when he did it again in California, Gil's wife covered it up behind Gil's back. The cash went to the survivor of Alan's crime. So that's where the $50,000 came from. There's a whole fucking thing here. There's a whole lot of stuff to unwrap about Gil. But, Love and Quinn leave Gil to think about whether he'll accept the mutually assured destruction deal now. Probably should have checked in more often on the app. Probably should have, been a little bit better at watching over their guy here, because holy shit, he fucking killed himself. When they weren't watching, obviously Gil fashioned a noose from his t-shirt and hanged himself in the cage. He couldn't bear, not being a good person. That really shows something about Gil's character. He couldn't bear, this being put forth to his family, the threat of this being put out into the world. So he killed himself, which is fucking crazy. Like, that, again, that really shows something about his character, that he would go as far as killing himself to, make sure that image doesn't get out of him, or that people don't see him like this. So Joe is paralyzed with guilt for having driven Gil to suicide, despite Love's insistence that they aren't responsible. And then it's time for her to go make an appearance at the search party. So on her way out, she gets an idea. Shit. The search seems at first just to be a new setting for the characters we know to do what we would expect. Sherry makes herself the main character in public, then privately shit talks Matthew. If she were married to an unfeeling robot like him, she'd take off. It's like, holy shit, Sherry, you're such a you're such a shitty person. Not even just a bad person, you're fucking shitty for that. But whatever, being a gossip girl, being an asshole. Theo overhears and confronts her, at which Love intervenes, making sure Sherry is okay, which I found fucking hilarious, and encouraging Theo, who's having a very hard day, to apologize. That was her excuse. Oh, Theo's just having a bad day. Don't worry, guys. It's all sunshine and rainbows and Madre Linda. I don't like Love for doing that. Like, that was not a good move. Obviously, you don't want to cause commotion. Obviously, you don't want to, put attention on a kid that is going through a situation like this. But, man, that was very annoying of her to do that, and to, reassure and to even encourage Sherry for talking shit, almost. But when no one's looking, Love finds a grove in which to nestle the axe, onto which we see, in a flashback, Love and Joe have pressed Gil's palm print. So, yeah, they put his print on there. So he is the murderer. They are framing him, which is so fucking insane. It's almost like a Dexter aspect, but being a fucking snitch, almost. It's so crazy. I really like what they did with this. So Theo and Matthew are both dismayed that the search has been unsuccessful, though Matthew does concede to Detective Falco that anything they had found would probably indicate Natalie is dead, so maybe this is good news after all. Theo, at the bakery with Love, asks her what should expect from his life now. What he should expect from his life now that he's been part of a nationally publicized tragedy. He needs advice. He needs advice from her, because she went through the same type of thing. So he also kisses her, though she quickly stops him. No flirting. And then, as we cut between Natalie's family members and also Joe planting a printed suicide note in Gil's glasses in his empty house, we see Love's plan come to fruition. Officially, it seems as though Gil had an affair with Natalie, grew angry when he realized she wouldn't leave Matthew, killed her with an axe, buried her at sea, then came home and confessed it all in his note before hanging himself from a stair rail. It's fucking crazy. This is a crazy thing to do. But, we see how perfectly it all went off, towards the end of this episode. Theo is returning to school, no longer tormenting Love with his youth and novelty. Sherry has sent Love a gigantic floral arrangement and thanks for defending her with Theo, and even calls her friend on the card. I honestly thought that was Theo disguising as Sherry so she could get the flowers, but I guess it actually was Sherry. Joe has inherited Gil's library job and will be reading to the kids from now on. Marianne is so far from suspicious of his motives in handling the rare books that she puts a very old David Copperfield into his hand herself. But then, chatting in a friendly way, she starts playing with the pendant on her necklace, and Joe's internal monologue starts wondering if she, calling her you, is flirting with him. Joe recognizes as we do the significance of this pronoun choice. I cannot be thinking about you like this. No, 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 this is bad. So, the next few episodes, we'll have to see how that develops, the news of Gil breaking out, how the community is going to deal with it. Obviously, Marianne's kind of flirting with Joe, so maybe we'll see if they have a sort of affair. There's all sorts of things kind of put in the air, and I'm actually going to be watching that episode tonight. I have a lot of homework and stuff to do as well, so I'm just going to be kind of doing a little bit of everything in between stuff. So leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, I'm going to put these clips together. I actually like this new format. I've been using more like different notes and sort of stuff. But again, we're kind of recapping and giving my thoughts. At the same time, it's not like this is a full-on review, which is why I call it a recap. But let me know what you guys think of these videos. I'm going to make them regardless probably, but I'm out.